It has only been 15 years since the invention of the internet, and 7 years since the first major growth in social network patents. And over the course of human history, no invention has had such a profound impact on a global scale in such a short amount of time. Needless to say, social media has also found its way to news media and journalism, forever altering them. The routes in which journalists and news corporations have broadened and incorporate social media as means of information gathering. This has also led to quicker response and better coverage of events from the journalist when an event occurs. When the crowd gathered at Tahrir Square in Cairo on January 25th, nobody thought this was going to be big. And when things did turn big and became a nationwide protest, all the news media inside and outside of Egypt were unprepared and undermanned. However, Al Jazeera began to receive photos, videos, and tweeted account of events. The editors of Al Jazeera decided to use the civilian reports and posted many of the photos and videos onto their website. After the event, Al Jazeera noted for its superiority as compared to the US media, seeing it as more informative and less opinion-driven. The decision for the editors at Al Jazeera to use the civilian reports were a very difficult one. There's no way they could seek to authenticate and verify the accuracy. However, in light of the situation and its importance, they took their risk with trusting the accuracy of these civilian reports. In a 2020 hindsight, the decision was a correct one, as they were praised for their coverage. This choice reflects that the news corporations now have another source of reporting at their disposal. This usage of civilian reports has its impact and repercussions, which will be addressed later on. In addition to this, the means of obtaining quotes from involved parties have also changed. In the past, reporters had to be granted identifications to have interviews. Today, quotes, questions, statements, and interviews, which some have coined the term Twinterview, can all be found on Twitter. Not only this means that reporters can write articles and reporting news while sitting at home, it also means that everyone can become a reporter and write articles simply by going onto Twitter, read the tweets, form an opinion, and publish. The improvement in the coverage of events, as well as the response speed, is evident from the protests in Egypt. For Al Jazeera, one of the 5 best news website nominees, had only 3 or 4 correspondents on the ground and simply could not cover such a prominent event. Former President Hosni Mubarak also began to deport journalists out of the country in order to keep the media and information under control. Under these limited resources, the News Corporation was still able to maintain their stream of broadcasts and inform the readers of the events. The journalists could also respond to the Twitter and Facebook feeds accordingly and attend the most important events based on the information released by the public. When the audience interests shift, the News Corporation can shift along with the reader, and in a sense, the public would be put at the helm of the ship to find the news and guiding the reporters to the occurrence. However, this still brings up the authenticity of the events, as there is no way to verify the accounts unless a reporter is actually present. The main reason that Al Jazeera took the risk to trust the Twitter feeds was because there were so many of them. The number of tweets were so overwhelming that there was no way which it could be faked. Otherwise, it would be a pretty costly prank. This could then lead to overlooking the specific interests of the readers and corporations focusing on what the general public wants to hear. A solution to this would be limiting the reliance of news corporations on social media. Rather than using Twitter to gain information and quotes, the reporter should also focus on in-depth analysis along with interview follow-ups. Conclusively, we can see that social media has had a relatively positive impact on news media and journalism. Reports are made much quicker with better response to the events and using the public as another source of gaining information. However, it must be acknowledged that news corporations must not rely on social media excessively, and rather than a revolution in journalism, there should be innovations to improve the quality of broadcasting and promote the freedom of speech more effectively through utilizing social media.